Hello everyone, welcome to Learn Academy. This is Ikechumana. Today team, I'm going to take you through a for loop in a Java, and this is a video number 11 on our playlist object-oriented programming using Java. And in this playlist we are going to learn the Java basics, and after that we also introduce the object-oriented programming concept using Java. So please, if you are new to this channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button so that you motivate us to do more videos. So team, without wasting much of your time, let's begin. So Java for loop. The Java for loop is used to iterate a part of the program several times. So you're saying maybe you've got the statement that you want to run several times. So you can just use a for loop to iterate that. Just imagine maybe you want to print hello 20 times. You want to print hello 30 times. Instead of writing every line printing a hello, you can just write hello once and then iterate it 100 times or 20 times. So if the number of iteration is fixed, it is recommended to use a for loop. So whenever you know the number of iterations that you want, just use a for loop. Okay, so a simple for loop is the same as C or C++. So if you have done a for loop before in C or in C++, it's just the same. So you can initialize the variable, check condition, and increment or decrement the value. So these are the three statements that we are going to have and that we are going to work with a for loop. I'm just going to actually show you how you can do that and how, or the order of execution of this statement that we are talking about. So if you look at this, or the syntax of a for loop, you see that we have the statement 1, the statement 2, and the statement 3, and as usual the 4 keyword, and then the code block to be executed. So if you look at this, we've got the statement 1, and then the statement 1 is just the initialization, and then the statement 2 will be your condition. So this is the condition that we check. If the condition is true, then we execute the block or the code block that we have, and then if it is false, we just exit the for loop. And then the statement 3 is the one that will be actually altering or incrementing or decrementing the value so that the condition will later on be false, so that we can terminate or we can exit the for loop. So team, if you look at this quite example that we have got int I is equal to 0, which is the statement number 1. So the statement number 1 is only for initialization, right? So we are going to initialize I to 0, which is the starting value. And then we have I less than 5 there as a statement number 2. So this statement number 2 is just a condition. This is our condition, which is going to be either true or false. And then the I++ is statement number 3, which is going to be the increment or the decrement value, just like that. Okay, so whenever our I is less than 5, we are going to execute the statement which is system.out.println, just like that. So how this for loop is going to work, this is what I'm just going to show you in a code where I'm just going to demonstrate this and I'll explain everything. So let's dive into my code that I've actually created. I've created a project. If you do not know how to create a project, please watch our very first video. So in this code, what I'm going to do is very simple. I'm just going to create a for loop for you team. So the for loop is just like this. We have this open and closing block, and then this, and we are going to have the first statement, which is initialization, right? Int I is equal to 0. After that, sorry, I missed an I there, int I is equal to 0. After that, so you terminate. This is why I'm saying it's a statement. You don't put a comma, you terminate a line, but it's a statement. And then I is less than 5, or I must be less than 5 for us to execute this for loop. And then I++, which is incrementing I by what? By 1. Then inside here, I'm just going to have a statement which is going to run whenever I is less than 5, just like that. So what is this statement? I'm just going to print the value of I, right? So if I run this, you are going to see that you are going to have 0 to 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. How is it all these values of I are printed? It's just simple team. We said this is the first statement, which is the initialization, and it runs only once, right? So we are setting I to 0. After that, we are coming here and check, is it 0 less than 5? Yes. Then what's next? To everything which is in our for loop, which is to print the value of I. So after that, what's next? You need to increment the value of I by 1, which means we now have our I as 1. And then after that, what's next? You are now coming here and say, is it 1 less than 5? Yes. Then do this, then increment the value. Maybe we have our I now as what? Maybe as 2. Then you come here, is it 2 less than 5? Yes. Then you do this again. So you do this until you reach 4, where you can say 4 is less than 5. Yes. And then print. That's when we print this 4, and then we increment our I, which is going to be 5. Is it 5 less than 5? No. Then we terminate the execution, or we do not execute this. Why? Because the statement now is becoming what? False, just like that. So this is how a for loop actually gets run or gets executed. We just use 3 statements, where the first statement is for initialization, where this one is now the condition which will actually allow us to execute the block or the code block whenever it is true. If it is false, we just exit the for loop and execute anything which is after a for loop. Like here, if I say, maybe I was supposed to put, if I say out of loop, right? Just like that. If I say out of loop, you see that after I is equal to 4, we are no longer going to execute this, but we are going to execute out of loop. Why? Because whenever I gets to 5, we just say 5 is less than 5. No, so we are not going to execute this. So we are just going to execute this one, just like that. So just imagine, maybe you want to print, or maybe you want to do something whenever a certain condition is true. You can use this for loop, and you need to know the number of iterations that you want. If you have a fixed number of iterations, that's where you can use a for loop. Otherwise, you can opt to use maybe the do while or the while loop, just like that. So team, that's all what I have for a for loop, or how a for loop works in Java. You can have nested for loops. You can even nest a for loop inside a for loop. It just work the same. The outer loop and the inner loop, they always just work the same. So that's what I have for this video. So if you like this video, please click the like button, also share it with your colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you motivate us to do more videos. Thank you for watching.